I mean, do you not think I'm struggling here, you know? I'm struggling, and I'm not alone struggling. I'm struggling with everybody else. And I think that's like most people that have issues or have problems getting over, you know, what they have in their lives, this overwhelmingness of emotions, stuff, work, stress, reinvention, and you know, trying to find your place in a really hustly, bustly Western society that tells us one thing and means completely the opposite. And it took me a very long time to deal with addiction. It took me a very long time to face myself. You know, when I'm in this room, I face myself. I kind of look at the real me, and sometimes in the very beginning it was very ugly. And then you find a kind of solace, I guess, especially within, I think, my own practice, because it's about finding that oneness, and about finding that space between yourself and that stillness, which is very hard to find because you've got so much going on. You know, I'm 3.5 years, I'm 4 years in May into my practice. And I think that this last year has been, it's just been incredible. It doesn't mean I get any better at it, you know what I mean? I think you physically change and you don't notice it. It's a bit like a colour photograph turning black and white. No one really notices, you don't notice. But if you haven't practiced in a certain studio, you'll go there and you'll see people that are doing yoga and stuff, and they go, oh, look at you, look how well you look, and everything else. But I've seen it in my work. I've seen the amount of change, you know, like real change in my attitude towards work and my attitude towards people. My application, the way that I address work now and the way that I breathe through it more, and try and apply it to that. And I think I've done more work in the last 3 years than I've done in the last 10. And I sometimes say to myself, I've got to put that down to yoga, man. I've really enjoyed the journey of the yoga, man. I've enjoyed the fact that I've been able to find something that I couldn't find before because of my madness of not being able to concentrate or keep still, or I have so much energy that it just needed to be consumed within drugs or anything else, and alcohol and everything else. And I think it's not about saying you don't want to do one or the other or anything. When you find an equilibrium with yourself, I've found that the strong thing with yoga for me has been that there's not a want for anything else after that. I kind of found that, you know, that the amount of cleansing you go through and the amount of soul searching has been pretty incredible, because there's always that neediness with everything else before. And, you know, you release, you know, you're kind of replacing one addiction with another, but it's a lot of more of a healthier option, you know. I was reintroduced to it through a really bad injury. I had a really horrendous water skiing accident, doing one reality TV show too many. And for me, you know, my friend Michael Copperman, who's been running Gimme 5 and Stussy and Supreme for many years, and I said to him, why are you so zen? Why are you always on that level, you know? Why are you always just like... And he went, yoga, baby, that's what it is. And I'm like, what? I find it comforting that all these people from different walks of life can just embrace it, and you think, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it, you know? I think that any yoga in Western society is a really good thing to do. I think the whole Yogangster thing for me was like looking at and turning something on its head, you know? You know, gangsters associated with someone being out there and taking something and just taking it and being rebellious against it. And obviously yoga is yoga, and you put that together and it's Yogangster. It's like having a more aggressive attitude towards it, which is kind of the wrong thing to say, but having a more of an upfront approach to it. Like, you know what, I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna try my best. You know, and that for me was really important, because it was like, hey, I've got a lot of character here, I can do this, I can overcome this, and I've overcome all these other things in life, why can't I overcome this? Well, you don't really overcome it, you fall into it and you commit to it. And I really like the idea of being able to breathe into something for the first time and have a dialect going on between you, the teacher, this room, and you're there for this purpose. For that 90 minutes, your phone's not gonna ring. You know, you haven't got to worry about any of that bullshit. You'll think about a lot of stuff, but it comes and it passes and it moves on. And staying focused for me is really, really important. I mean, even now, you know, I'm still young within yoga. I'm still very young and I'm growing. I'm learning more. But in terms of how far I think, you know, when I first began, I couldn't touch my knees. I couldn't even breathe properly. I couldn't sleep well. I was sleeping terribly. I was medicating to the point where I'd pass out. And then now I sleep for 4 to 5 hours a night, man, and I'm done. I just want to live, you know what I mean? For a person who was pretty dead for a lot of years, you know, I think like most people that are involved in the arts and everything else, you just throw yourself at it till you burn out. But something in the middle of it, something happened probably about the 4th or 5th time, right? It just hit a nerve with me that I thought, I spent all my fucking time running around, doing all these things, and it just felt like something made me say, just go back again. So I stuck with it. And I think, I always say this to people, you know, and I think, you know, well, what's Yogangster about? And what's that attitude towards it? And I look at it from an addiction point of view, and I think, well, it's 90 minutes, right? And I think, right, okay, so how can I judge if this is doing me any good or not? And I think, right, I've got 90 minutes here. Right, if I add, you know, 44 and a half minutes there, and I minus 44 and a half minutes there, for that 1 minute in the middle of that practice, if that was a drug, what would I pay for it, you know? There's no price on your health and your well-being. I think you get to that age, you start to realise that. You know, live for your family, you want to be strong, and that's important.